Media Network proudly presents It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Laura Mock, Maria Hartman, Wendy Ann, and Lara Brzezinski. It's All Love, a space where we open into the heart, tap into the soul's deep wisdom, and enter into the energy of love, truth, presence, and joy. It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to It's All Love, a sacred community where we open our hearts and align to the vibration of love, heart to heart, soul to soul. We're so excited to have you all with us tonight. With me here are Laura, A-U Laura, and Lara, A-R-A Lara. We do start this podcast every week with a short meditation to bring us to center, to help us to open our hearts. And then from there, we just see where we go, see what comes up during the meditation, see where our hearts lead us, what conversations. And that's it, a little conscious conversation about wherever our hearts take us. Tonight, Lara, I believe you are going to get us to our heart space and lead us through a short meditation to start. So we invite everybody to join us.
I am. So if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes so that you can tune out all distractions and turn within. And I invite you to just feel your breath coming into your body as it expands your chest, and pull it all the way down into your belly. And just feel your in-breath and your out-breath. Breathing at your own pace. And as you turn your attention within, I invite you to tap into your heart space. And think of yourself stepping down, like you're stepping down a staircase, down deeper into your heart, down, down, until you feel the connection with your very heart space. And as you continue to breathe out, feel your breath breathing into your heart, expanding, contracting, bringing your full presence into your heart space. And as you breathe in, feel the expansion of your heart into your chest wall. And contract. And just feel your whole body expanding with every breath and relaxing with every out breath. And as you continue to focus on that heart space, visualize a little spiral of golden light spiraling out from your heart space, spiraling out, expanding, and filling your heart space until this light is like a globe that is swirling and expanding, filling your heart with this deep sense of peace, of love, of joy. And as you continue to feel it and see it. Imagine it expanding out through your whole body, all the way up to the tip of your head, out your arms, feeling it go all the way down through your chest, down through your legs and into the floor, connecting deep down into the earth, and feeling this golden light, this feeling of peace and love, now expanding out, surrounding your body. The swirl, it's pulsing with your breath, pulsing with your heartbeat. So you're feeling this deep sense of love and connection, peace and safety as you are surrounded and encased in this bubble of this golden light of love and peace. And now just breathe this out even wider. Breathing it out outside the room. Breathing it out outside your house or the building you're in. And breathing this, expanding it. Your very breath, it's a breath of love, a breath of peace that it continues to expand and expand as it gently, slowly expands all the way around the earth, wrapping the earth in a breath and a heartbeat of love, of peace. And just feel that expanding and contracting around the earth for a couple of breaths and a couple of heartbeats. And then slowly breathing that back in from around the earth. Breathing that and bringing that energy and that light and that peace back so it's surrounding the building you're in. It's shrinking back to the room. And you bring it all the way back, surrounding your body until it comes all the way back into your heart space. And breathe in that love and that peace back into your heart space. And now bringing your attention back to your body, sitting in the chair or on the couch or wherever you are. Feeling your body, feeling your fingers, feeling your feet on the floor. And taking a breath, and when you're ready, opening your eyes and coming back to this room and this conversation. I love doing that one. It's so simple, but it feels so good.
I loved the breath and the heartbeat for the whole world.
Yeah.
There was something really profound about that, because I definitely used to get a little bit depressed when, you're bombarded with news and pain and suffering, and you feel like you're unable to make a mark in the world, or you're one person. How do you help? And sometimes, we need all the other things, right? But sometimes if all you can give is that breath and that heartbeat and that love and peace, what a beautiful gift that is.
Mhm.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How about you, Laura?
I always love the idea of expanding and going further and further out. And then to me, it likes what Maria said, it's knowing that we have that power, that that's the oneness of that's what that means. We really are all connected to that oneness. And then when we intentionally bring that to the heart, our heart, and allow that to shine, allow it to shine and shine and shine and go out, 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 out. And then know it's like infinity. It just comes right back into your heart. I think that is, I mean, I'm so peaceful right now. I'm hoping I can talk in this podcast right now. I was like, it's for us, for Marie and I at 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So there's a musician, his name is Daniel Nahmod, Nahmod, and he has a song, and the line is it, we breathe the same air, we drink the same water, we walk the same earth, we kiss the same sky.
Mm.
And then he says, I think we ought to get along better, you and I. And I love thinking about that very breath, right? That first of all, that we don't have to think about breathing. It's the air is always here around us. You know, unless we're in like a smog city, then you worry about it. But it doesn't matter what city, and I can fly to a different city, I can breathe that same air. And that when we are together in a room, you and I are breathing in the same air. And this whole planet is encompassed in a bubble. So we're all breathing the same air. And I love that. And that the water, right, that it cycles and it goes through and right, it doesn't matter where I am, I'm drinking the same water, whatever city, whatever country, that it's all the same, that we each, and there's just so much about that expansion. When I think about that and I compass the earth, and I'm reminded of the air is always circulating around this whole planet, right? It's always circulating. It's not like, okay, the air that's around Arvada, Colorado is our air. No, it's all the same air just moving around. And you know, so that's one other layer of the divine connection of, you know, outside of the consciousness that created all of us, that is within us. So that's
it's interesting to take that, and it's interesting to think about. I think a lot of us here mentor and do a lot of things in the healing arts, and you know, the saying is, you know, we have more in common than we have different. And you know, it's interesting to think about when you're in a room with some people, if we can imagine being in a room, or we are in the room with people that we maybe have different opinions about, or all these, but what do you have in common? You do have in common the breath, the air, and you are sharing that, whether you so, you know, you have opinions about that, but we're sharing that space. And if you can start with, we are breathing the same air, and creating a sacredness around that, even like that's the deeper practitioner piece, right? To where maybe not everyone is thinking or being conscious, and that's that divine presence, that capital, like with the capital letter there. It's interesting to think about, well, maybe, and we don't even have to say it. If we feel it and we know it, and we're breathing this sacred air, I think the tone in the room can begin to shift into something more peaceful and something more workable.
Breathing the sacred air, and as your meditation did, was we grounded into the same earth. And I mean, that's just as powerful. You draw energy from the earth. We're all drawing from the same source, above, beneath, everything. We're all drawing from that same love source. Yeah. And like you said, at different perspectives, it almost is secondary, you know. It is secondary. It's not almost secondary. Sorry. It is secondary.
And I know there can be judgment around, well, we're honoring the earth, but they're not, or this is how we, but I think, going to a higher frequency when we're aware of this sacredness of all, I think it is, again, that call to, well, I can be that space, even if not everyone is there in consciousness, but we know that at the core everyone is from the same consciousness. So if I'm in that space where I'm honoring the earth, I'm honoring that source, and I'm aware of it, there's just, I know for me on my beginning of my journey, I didn't understand. I didn't, a lot of my teachers and mentors were saying things I didn't quite understand. But what I did notice is they lived it. And there was a peace, there was almost like an ether around them. Their air to me felt peaceful and lighter and loving. And even if I didn't always consciously could grasp what they were talking about at the time, I could feel it. I could,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
wanted
The
to be
vibration.
yeah. It's like that thing with teachers, right? What they say that you don't remember what they said, but you remember how they made you feel.
Yeah.
That's everything. And this is
Mhm.
taking that into even a higher consciousness and awareness in that.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
cool.
so important. So important to be able to, when you are on this path of growth and learning, to be able to maintain your own vibration and ideally tap into that vibration of love so that even when people don't understand necessarily, they feel, yeah.
Right.
And you can shift somebody's day or moment just from that feeling that they get when they're near you. That's a gift.
Mhm.
I wonder too, like, so going back to a few things we were talking about that we can just merge into this before we even got started today is like, okay, so it's about the authenticity of feeling. And like when you were saying, maintain the vibration, what we were kind of talking about before, and we'll fill everybody in on, is like, to me, and we may have mentioned this before on the podcast, even though we've only had a few, we probably have mentioned it before, or at least maybe I have. Being spiritual to me is being authentic. And so if I'm feeling in a strong emotion, if I've been hurt, the inner child in me has been hurt, or there's been a pain, or there's a grief that's coming up, or whatever it may be, I have found my vibration may drop, yes, in that moment, but if I suppress it, Laura, you were talking about, we all were, Laura had a great analogy earlier. If we suppress it, or we do not allow ourselves to feel it because we think we should know better, do better, then that actually ends up hurting my vibration long term more, and my body's gonna, I guess, give me red flags and noticing things. But I think it's so important. I've really, really been embracing this lately, of understanding that doesn't mean that we cannot have strong emotions. But if we have the foundational understanding, even if it's up here, foundational understanding, when we're saying it's really all love, it really is all love. So if you're having emotion that doesn't feel like love, allowing, like what you were talking about earlier, allowing your body, allowing yourself to feel it is so important. And trusting that love, Laura, you said, you may have to repeat what you said before you started, like, something great's getting ready to happen. But we don't always feel it in the moment sometimes. But could you share a little bit of what you were talking about when it came to that?
Well, I just want to refer back to what we had said prior about spiritual teachers that helped bring guidance to us when we didn't have the emotional, spiritual understanding of, I'm a spiritual being expressing in this human form. And so it's the
Right.
both and, that I am human. And as being human, I get to experience all these different emotions. But it's the awareness that these emotions are telling me something, that something feels off, something doesn't feel right. Or the emotion could be pure joy of like, this is amazing. I want more of this. And, it's how does the emotion feel without labeling it good or bad?
Right.
This emotion feels uncomfortable. Okay, so
Right.
why? It's the what's underneath, and realizing that didn't feel good because someone just was rude and put me down, and that didn't feel like love. So that doesn't feel good. Or someone, I'm not being heard and listened to, and I know that in the past, I have stifled my own voice right. So it's the awareness. And I love, someone was, we've talked about awareness is shining light into the darkness, so you can see what's there, but also it's bringing the invisible visible.
Right.
So, wow, I'm feeling a really strong emotion about this. What's underneath that I'm having such a reaction? And that's where, okay, if we say it's either a demonstration of love, yay, this feels great, or it's a cry for love, is it on their part, on my part, as a Course in Miracles, then what's the knowing that there's love at the foundation. So it's either expressing or it's missing.
Yeah.
Or it's crying out to be healed or resolved or understood or whatever it is. That's this doesn't feel good. And somewhere under here, I love, somewhere in this pile of muck, there's a pony.
There's a what? A pony?
There's a pony in there somewhere.
A pony, I like that.
Never heard that one.
It must be a Colorado thing, Maria.
It's the two perspective. The twins go to the farm, and there's a stall, and it has a big pile of manure, and the one is like, ew, that's gross. They're like, I don't want anything to do with that. And the other one picks up a pitchfork and starts shoveling, and so the first one's like, what are you doing? And the second one is like, well, this much manure, there's got to be a pony in there somewhere.
Okay, that's a great analogy.
I love that.
That is a great analogy.
Oh,
if there's this much, yeah.
I'm feeling that. That's great.
There must be something amazing underneath it.
Exactly. And sometimes it takes a lot of shoveling.
Yeah.
And a lot of stepping away and taking a clean, fresh breath to be able to come back to it, right?
Yeah.
However, what is going on, but saying, how is this here for me? What's the gift and the opportunity behind this, around this, underneath it, right? Because the surface is pretty yucky and uncomfortable. And the first step is that where we started, acknowledging this feels like crap and I feel like raging. I'm angry. Okay, I'm going to allow the anger. And once it dissipates, right, that energy, okay, my initial anger is gone. What's next?
Let's talk about a little bit here about what a gift it is to have community or friends or connections that can help you get to that. Because what I see often is that somebody is in that space and has no idea how to step out of that pile of manure or dig in and discover what it is really that's
right. What's really about what's underneath it.
Yeah.
It's everything. And I think that's why, and Wendy, not here today, but I think that's all of our missions it's the mission of this podcast. It's the mission of our individual practices as well, personally and professionally, because I think most people that find themselves in the healing arts, like what we're doing, is because we found value in someone else and found value in it so much so that you want to share it and you want to support it. Like, hey, listen, we're not coming to you being born guru, or I can't say, I definitely would just not come to you being born a guru in this, but it comes from experience and it comes from all of that. And so it is so, when I see someone that has completely just almost at the bottom, I internally, and I may be very mindful how I express that eventually, but I know I'm excited for them because I know something is breaking down in order for their authentic power and truth to come out. It just hurts so bad at the time. But I think for me personally, probably the biggest, I bet I say this every podcast, one of the biggest shifts I had, or the big shift, or I don't know, but one of the biggest ones that happened for me is when I began to really believe, and I began to train myself. My ego, when my ego would come up in whatever emotion, I started to really believe, I know I'm going to be okay. My goal was always to say, this doesn't feel good right now, but I know in the big picture, I'm going to be okay. Something great's going to come out of this. I don't know what it is right now. And I think for me, I just had to just allow. And then when I am feeling like I reach out, that's where your community and people come in. But I agree with you, Maria. I think I just think it's critical. And I think, like we've talked about, it is you're doing you have the wisdom, it is in you. However, a safe, non-judgmental, loving community changes
Or
everything.
one person that
That's
supports
right.
you and can listen and can, if needed, guide. If not, just be that safe person to talk to. How many times have I needed somebody to gently guide me away from a negative spiral and remember? You know what I mean? Because it really is. It just takes that moment of remembering to be able to get back to that place where, okay, I can do this. I can take one step in this direction. And sometimes that's all that's needed is that first step. And then, then the next comes more easily and the next comes more easily. But you just need that hand sometimes.
Well, and also it's the sounding board. I can't tell you how many times I heard stuff coming out of my mouth. And as soon as it came out of my mouth, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I just needed. And sometimes it had to come out for them to reflect back to me. And then I could hear it. It was like, oh, good point. That, yeah. But it matters, the safe space and someone who can listen. That non-judgment, I'm just going to listen. I'm going to let you get it out, and I can reflect back. I can ask questions, reflecting back. I know, because I'm not in it, that what you're going through, you're going to be okay. Like you said, Laura, you're going to get through this. It's just a thing. Even if you just had to declare bankruptcy, or you're going through a divorce, or, something, you lost your job, it feels life altering. It is life altering. And I can know the truth for you that you're going to be okay as you keep taking a step forward. And what popped into my head a little while ago that I always want to remind people is how powerful is the pause.
Right.
Taking a pause, taking a breath when something's going on, and just, okay, I'm feeling the emotion. I'm going to take a breath, feel it, let it go, take another breath. But the power of the pause to snap out of that instant reaction zone. And okay. And sometimes, when you're in it, I do not want to hear somebody say, well, there's a gift in there for you. I'm not there. That's just listen, be that safe space. Let me get it out. And you hold the space for me, and then I can get there. Right. So none of us are saying that, and every bad thing, like, oh, yes, I can snap out of it. And there's a gift and opportunity, and I'm moving through. It's all different based on our beliefs, based on our history, based on like what's going on, what it actually is. There's a big difference between someone cutting you off in traffic and your response, and someone just handed you your termination papers from your job, and you're part of the stability in your household.
Let's be honest also that even those of us that can get to that place on our own sometimes, even those of us who are able and know how to do that, sometimes I just want to stew in it for a day before I even reach out to somebody else, right? I mean, that's a very real
Yes,
I'm not.
I'm in agreement. That's why I'm nodding my head. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's just where you want to be. And then you know that when you're ready, you have people to turn to and reach out to, and yeah, and begin that shift, begin that. Yeah. But even that is a gift. Even
Well,
that
and again, like if you think about, I mean, I know everyone talks about inner child. I really deeply believe in the inner child stuff. I just think those pathways get started at a young age.
yeah.
But I think about like, okay, let's say Marie, you just wanted to stew. By the way, I know nothing about that. Nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Sarcasm right here. Nothing. Humbly. And, and I think about again the gifts of like working with, I worked with children just as a teacher for a long time and then sometimes privately as well. And if you weren't in a safe environment to stew,
Mhm.
if you weren't allowed to feel your emotions in a safe outward way, if you had to go hide in your closet or you just were not allowed, I look at those stewing moments as like, oh, you're giving little Maria, she gets to stew now and
Yeah.
create a pathway that I get to feel this and nothing bad. Like I can feel this and nothing bad. I have a right to my emotion without any other unsafe thing around me. Even it doesn't have to be necessarily always like physical unsafety, but we know oftentimes that can be the case. But it also can just be like where your parents are,
Shame.
emotional
It
awareness.
could be shame. They
Ugh,
could have been like, "Oh, come on,
we
stop
dismiss
it."
you or
Like that. That's right.
yeah.
Get over it.
And that goes back to what Laura said, like, again, like sometimes those emotions, when I see someone that I know has suppressed emotions for a long time and they're coming out, I'm like, even though it's intense, and I'm like, this is great. This is great. Now, yes, I'm not saying let's stay stuck in this for the rest of your life. That will be disempowering. But sometimes those moments of empowerment come from that suppressed part of you that did not get to express that. And so I'm not going to sit here and say in that moment, well, guess what? There's something great that's going to come on the other side of this. You're just going to be so happy and la 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 la. And they're like, screw you. Sorry. There because you're not acknowledging again that we could come in and spiritually bypass that little girl that didn't get to express anger and now she's expressing anger. I'm not going to spiritually bypass that. She needs to feel it. It's all love, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing, and that's not something I got early. I didn't understand that for a long time early on. And when I
Right.
think about the mission of this podcast, I think the deepest mission of all is to create that community here and you participate. We may end up having people on, whoever is listening in the future, like let's have real talk around this and 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 help find that community, help find those people that are not going to judge you and
Yeah.
love you and meet you where you are, but also see your worth through every single step. See your value and worth, and that's constant. That will never change.
The other piece of it's all love is loving yourself enough
Yep.
to, like you just said, Laura, give yourself permission to express. I love myself enough. I know it's all love. I'm worthy enough that I have a right to express my frustration. Right? We all put the boundaries on. Don't harm someone else in your
Yes.
expressing your emotion, and you have a right to be upset or angry about something. And we also know, the three of us know, that when we're in that space of upset or anger, it does not feel good on the inside.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want it to come up and out and then get to the place of like, okay, I want to get back to feeling good on the inside. So it's why it's valuable to forgive someone for an action, not condoning a behavior, but releasing that anger that, that I might be holding on because somebody said or did something, right? I'm giving my power away when I'm holding on to anger about someone or something, instead of, okay, I'm going to love myself enough to take control in the areas that I can take control. Where do I have control? I have control of my emotions. I have control over my choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're in the car, someone cuts you off, you are in complete control of how
How
you
you
respond.
Yeah.
And are you going to allow the anger to bubble up and stay angry because someone was in a hurry or didn't see you, and maybe they're a new driver, right? Again, it goes back to the, okay, I have choice here. I'm in control. And how do I want to feel? And I love that when we started, right, going into that space of love in our heart, it feels good.
Yeah.
Maria.
Well, I'm going to pose another question here, only because I
You
feel
can.
it. So yeah, so like in the car when somebody cuts me off, it's easier for me to release that and to just let that go than it is when somebody close to you upsets me. Let me just say me, or hurts me, whether they meant to or not. It's easier for me to forgive a stranger and let go of that than it is somebody that's close to me and that I love. And so, how do you get from that space? I'm asking for a friend. How do you get from that space?
You did a call for it.
Like you said in the very beginning, Maria, before this started, everything's practice,
Yeah.
right? So we start with the places where, okay, it's a stranger, I'm not attached. So how do I let go of that quick anger?
Hmm.
And the car is the best place because they're never going to hear you, whether you yell at them. They might see
Right.
you
Yeah.
or give them a gesture, but right, again, it's you. It's like, wow, how do I want to feel moving
Yeah.
forward? I'm going to take a breath and go, I'm going to bless you on your way. However you want to, use the word. I'm going to, but that's the first easiest place to practice. And then, and again, question, why am I so upset about someone else's driving habits and behavior? Well, they could have hit me, right? Like
Yeah.
we could have gotten in an accident. There's reasons, there's logic, and okay, it didn't happen. What can I do? What's in my control? I can back off. I can, be more diligent driving. I can create this bubble of love and peace, and nothing's going to harm me. But it's the practice of how quickly, when my anger, frustration rises, to take a breath. Okay, I don't want to upset my energy. When it's close to you, it's because exactly from love.
Mm.
You love that person, right? You care about that person. You're going to care about their opinion. You're going to care what they say. It matters more.
Yeah.
So absolutely, and the same practice applies. Take a breath. What's in my control? And we've talked before, the three of us, the four of us, about speaking our truth.
Yeah.
And how can I, from a place of love, share my truth? You know what? That felt really hurtful. Was that your intention?
Yeah.
Right? Again, what can I control, and where am I coming from, and what wants to be said in this moment? And in my history of my husband and I, we would have, because before we had the understanding of coming from love and being in curiosity, we did have the I'm right, you're wrong
Yeah.
attitude. And we had a tendency to want to prove, no, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, because we hadn't learned how the listening, the communication, the curiosity, and go, oh, that didn't feel good. I'm going to take a breath here and wonder why, and then ask, right? Again, not making assumptions. I wonder why they just said that. Just say, hey, did you mean to hurt my feelings? Were you like, did I take that wrong? So we have a phrase in our house that I got in 4th grade, and I've carried it my whole life, and we laugh about it, and it's so true. I know you believe you understand what you think I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant.
Mm.
And if we just take that and like, wow, how often do we take someone's words, their energy, their anger, and we take it all in thinking it's all to us, about us.
Yeah.
Wait a second. You know what? That's your anger. You're projecting it on me, but I had nothing to do with it. Or you made an assumption about that thing and now you're mad at me. Like, whoo, let's get some clear communication. And I'm gonna speak to from my own space of love and truth. You know, that felt really hurtful.
Yeah.
I think when I have been hurt, and I feel it, I let myself feel it. Maybe stew. Um,
A little.
Interesting. When I'm really hurt, I'm not aware that I'm stewing.
Yeah.
I'm just that hurt. You know, it hurts. It feels bad. But when I get underneath it, if I again, I always know it's a signal for something. Something. I always know there's something. If I'm really, really hurt, there's something deeper going on. But usually for me, one of the things is I have an attachment
Mm.
to that person that one may not be fair to, everybody has a right to have their feelings, emotions. They have their own past experiences, their own trauma they may be referring to or haven't tapped into yet, and they're projecting that out, or I am misunderstanding, whatever all that is. But usually I have an expectation that, I have attachment, I have an expectation, and I just have to step back and be like, okay, what am I really feeling? What's really going on here? And then I usually ask, is this mine? Is this theirs, or is this ours? And then what is my attachment? And very often when if I'm in more of an adult world, if I'm hurt, man, as cliche as it sounds, it always goes back to something when I'm little. And again, I talk about these little pathways that get started in
Yeah.
our minds, and I can find areas where I felt lesser than, or I didn't feel loved, lack of love, which you were talking. I love that when you said that earlier, Laura. And so then it's just being willing to allow myself to feel it, to cry, to be angry, whatever. And then I think, Maria, to kind of respond to the question, how do you get there? It's beginning to trust yourself that you can.
Mm.
It's trusting yourself that you can find peace and healing, even if you don't know the pathway yet. And I think sometimes we get in our head about how, and we need to hurry up and get, and I think the most powerful thing to do is surrender to what that is. And how we surrender is we don't put judgment on ourselves when we're feeling that. And then we just allow it to come out. We allow. And through the allowance, you begin to create new experiences where you're like, I did get through that. There's some gems of wisdom here. I have some understanding. I may have reached out. Somebody else may have helped me see that. But the more that happens, the more you begin to trust yourself. And I think working with teenagers a lot taught me so much. And it was like, you want to create a safe place in here and know that no matter what, can you say, I'm always going to be okay, no matter what. No matter what, can I? And that was always my goal. No matter what, can I say, in the long run, I know I'm going to be okay. Right now it hurts. And I think that can be a beautiful place to start. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but
It does. And the other piece of it, I think, I was just talking to my mom about this, is, where you have these hurts, these past hurts, you have gotten through them. But there is that piece of letting that instance, letting that moment, once you get through them, truly letting it go and
Mm-hmm.
not continuing to bring it up or talk about it with other people or whatever,
Right.
or reliving it. This is actually a conversation that I just had earlier today with my mom, where, every time you talk about that, and those people are gone, like from this earth, gone. Every time you talk about that, you're bringing that energy back into this present moment.
Yes, because the present's
That
always now.
energy of hurt, right? You're bringing that energy of hurt or disappointment or sadness or anger back into this moment. And now you're the only one that's here left, physically on this earth. And you're feeling it again. Why? Why? Why feel it over and over and over again? Why
Why do you
put
think?
yourself through that?
Why then? Why do you think many people, including myself in the past, like why go? Let's go there. Like why? What
Mm.
would be the layers of the why of that from the heart center? What
So,
would that be?
Maria, you know what it is.
Hmm.
So for you, why do you think she keeps bringing it up without getting into any specifics? Why would
Yeah,
you think?
I don't want to get into specifics just to keep
Right.
that privacy, but I think maybe there are multiple layers, and the one does go back to childhood and not feeling valued or heard.
Right.
So like you said, there are those pathways, that not even pathways, they're trenches by this point, right? The older we get, the harder it is to fill in those trenches and create new pathways. Not impossible. It's just a conscious effort. You have to really think about it. And I do believe that's the biggest part is not feeling heard or valued. Um,
So my
yeah.
invitation for you is, would you be comfortable being that safe, non-judgmental, loving space to say, why do you think you keep bringing this up?
Mm,
And another question would be, does this feel good? Would you
yeah.
would you like to resolve this and let it go? And if you can keep asking, if this was resolved, what would that look like? How would that feel? They're gone. So what, right? And you just keep asking. The quality of your life is in direct proportion of the quality of the questions.
Yeah.
So, and the quality of the answer that someone's going to get is also in the direct relationship to the quality of the questions. So, if you can just help her sit with it and ask different questions to help her start looking at it from different ways, because some people are like, no, I want to be righteous in my anger. Like, okay,
Mm,
how is that serving you? Not from a sarcastic place, but you've already established the safe, loving container. Is like, does this really help you? I mean, does it feel good when you start to get angry and you complain about this? Like, what would it feel like if you were able to let that go? If you were able to acknowledge, okay, we're never going to resolve this because they're gone. Or what if
mm,
you just forget? Like, you just keep asking different questions and then sitting and letting her figure out, because there's something in it for her. It's serving her to keep
mm-hmm,
bringing it forward.
mm-hmm,
And yet we know energetically it's not, in moving forward and having more joy and expansiveness, it doesn't serve to keep rehashing old hurts.
mm-hmm.
And the only reason it keeps serving is it's not healed. She hasn't come to a place of acceptance, releasing, finding the gift, finding the opportunity, or just saying, wow, you know what? I am done with that. Why do I? Right? Whatever someone's revelation is, we don't know what's going to be, but it starts with them deciding, yeah, I'm ready to be done, but I need some help figuring out why I do keep bringing it up. I do keep stewing in it.
Yeah, I would say we've gotten to that point, but not the next point. Like, do I want to be done with it?
And like what
Do I
Laura
really want to be done with it?
we all, and I can speak from personal experience myself. We are getting something out of it, right? Or we think we're getting we're getting something fed.
Yep.
And I say this without judgment to societal, but that's reinforced in general society all the time, constantly for centuries. It's been reinforced to hold on to these things, to hold on to wounds, and I think for women in particular, well, I shouldn't say just women, but any kind of suppression of some kind of voice. I understand where our mothers in particular and their generation, they didn't have one like at all. And so there's that Newton's third law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So now she's got all these voices coming out.
Yeah. And maybe she needs that a little bit, but then at what point, maybe she does need to speak her truth. Maybe she does need to get that out. There's no reason for it to get stuck here. We all know what happens when energy gets stuck there, right. But at what point does even that no longer serve you? At what point are you not getting it out anymore and
right.
just reliving the energy?
But I'm gonna pull Maria.
Okay.
This is what you would do to me.
Please do.
It's her journey, right?
Yeah.
So it's all love. So we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, you and I have a little bit in common with some of these things here. But I think it's always really interesting, especially in our families, when we recognize the victim consciousness. And I know people don't always like that word, but that is a very, very, very real thing. It just is. And it can be reinforced, but we know it doesn't. We know energetically it doesn't serve the bigger picture. It doesn't serve the greater journey in one way. But I also know, like, I don't know the whole journey, and maybe that's just. I think. I know when I say these things out loud, I'm like, all right, I know what they're for. When can I love mine without trying to fix it or control it, or because it makes me uncomfortable when I'm watching that pattern over and over again, which did directly affect me. Right? It's just a very interesting thing to be with. And there's choice. And if someone says no, and I'm not a Bible expert. I'm just going to be honest about that. But one person shared with me a story, and I'm sure I'm going to, it's not going to be exactly accurate per se, depending on what version. But it was that idea of when Jesus and his disciples were walking to Nazareth, and there was the man with all the riches and all the bags and everything, and he just asked, I've been following you. I really want to follow you. And Jesus looked at the bags and he was like, are you willing to let that go? Which is, of course, very symbolic and very metaphorical as well as very literal. And he had attachment to those things, and he told Jesus no. Again, a version of the story I've been told a couple of times, no. And Jesus said, okay, bless you, my child. And he went on. He didn't try to control him. He didn't try to fix him. And I always wonder what happened to him. Like what energy, like what that unconditional love and space did. And when I'm dealing with my own version, Maria, I try to remember that. Yeah. And then I also recognize that person raised me, and something within there, and I was nurtured by that person. Yeah. But something in there created, they loved me so much and accepted me so much that I have a voice. Yeah. Have a voice. And they were directly, in my situation, they directly contributed to that. Right. And I remind them that. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just going to one last thing, Maria, and then we're all going to
close up.
Start to wrap up.
Gigantic cup.
You also have a voice and a choice. So you can be in the space of inviting her. So what we talked about earlier, we all needed other spiritual teachers to help us grow and evolve, to have this greater awareness of, oh, I am a choice. Oh, it feels a whole lot better if I can figure out how to forgive and release this. Yeah, I want to live into the greater yet to be of me and stop dragging that. So we all need our teachers, and some of my teachers are my siblings, and some are my parents, and some are other people that are out there, right? So you have the opportunity to invite whoever you're speaking with after you've listened and say, would you be open to another perspective? Would you be open? Are you ready to let that go? You know, whatever your question is, and invite them that you might provide some guidance, and just ask. And then if they say no, say, well, you know what? I've been listening to this over and over, and I'm done. So if you're not ready to move on, you can have it, but I don't want to listen to it anymore. I love you, and this is my truth. And that's loving yourself and loving them. So it is that both and just saying, you can keep it, but you know what? I'm done. So that's how I feel on that.
Oh, and that's kind of goes back to the story that Laura just said, right?
Yes.
Are you ready to let it go? No? Okay, I can still love you. I can still love you, but I'm continuing to go. Right. I'm continuing to move.
He just honored free will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just don't want to participate in it anymore. So.
And you can still love. You can still offer love.
Yeah.
Because it's all love.
So
yeah, girl. Way to end it there.
Wrap it up.
I was going to say I'll close this out, but Laura, any last bow that you want to put on this conversation?
I think that is the bow. Perfect.
Maria?
No, that is. Already tied it up.
It all comes back to love. So I didn't introduce us in the beginning, but Laura, Wendy, who's not here, and Maria are part of a school of wisdom, Vistara School of Wisdom. You can learn more about them at vistaraschool.com. You can reach them at info@vistaraschool.com, and they each bring their own gifts of love, truth, presence, and the way they show up in the world through their different creative expressions of all of that. So it's fabulous to learn about them. They're all in North Carolina. I'm over here in Colorado, and I
Same
bring
air.
joy to the world.
Same air.
Same air. Different time zones, but it is this now moment right now. You can learn more about me reaching out at info@radiantjoycoaching.com. And we are here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Mountain and 6 p.m. Eastern. We do welcome your comments and questions. We would love to bring you into the conversation in the future. So just know that. And thank you for being here whenever it is that you find us and you watch this. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.